I gave you my heart.
Good day everyone, I am Roti Kuya and today we're going to tackle about the Agrarian Relations and the friar lands under the topic Rizal's social origins and historical context. So tatalakayin natin ang summary ng Agrarian Relations, kung saan nagsimula ang friar lands at kung ano ang koneksyon nito sa buhay ni Dr. Jose P. Rizal. History of the friar lands. The existence of the friar lands started when the Spaniards set foot in the Philippines, or what we call the Spanish conquistadors. So sa mga Spanish conquistadors nagsimula ang pagkakaroon ng friar lands dito sa Pilipinas. The Spanish conquistadors were awarded lands for their loyalty to the Spanish crown, or ang tawag natin sa lupang ito is hacienda. Sitio de Ganado Mayor. Approximate 120 Spaniards were granted with large tracts of land. Ang tawag natin sa large tracts of land na ito is Sitio de Ganado Mayor. Caballeras. Approximate 120 Spaniards were granted with smaller tracts of land. Kung ang tawag natin sa large tracts of land is Sitio de Ganado Mayor, ang tawag naman natin sa smaller tracts of land is caballeras. Hacienderos. People who owned the haciendas failed to develop their lands. Spaniards were not expected to permanently stay in the Philippines. So, ang tawag natin sa mga nagmamay-ari ng mga lupain o ng mga hacienda is mga hacienderos. Galleon trade, based in Manila, appealed more to Spaniards since it offered better economic opportunities. So, dahil sa pagbibigay ng mas magandang economic opportunities ng galleon trade, pumupunta ang mga Espanyol sa Manila para kumuha doon ng produkto at doon magbenta. Next, Spanish friars, able to acquire lands through whatever means available to them. Lands were donated to friars in exchange for spiritual favors. Many Filipinos believed that friars had no titles to the lands they owned, since they acquired it through dubious means. So, naniniwala yung mga Pilipino noon na mga fraile is walang hawak na dokumento na magpapatunay na sa kanila or na pagmamay-ari talaga nila yung mga lupaing hawak nila. Dahil yung way ng pagkakakuha nilang ng lupang iyon is through dubious means or kahina-hinala. Let's move forward to Agrarian Relations. In the Agrarian Relations, the form of land property became its basis as it is the primary means of agriculture production. Therefore, to determine its nature, land ownership and land tenure will be determined through the comparison of Hacienda de Calamba and Negros haciendas, the two modes of export-oriented sugar hacienda production in the 19th century Spanish Philippines. Hacienda de Calamba and Negros hacienda were completely different. Magkaiba po ang Hacienda de Calamba sa Negros hacienda. The former, or the Hacienda de Calamba, is under religious entity, samantalang yung Negros hacienda is not under a friar administration. Let's tackle first the Hacienda Calamba dispute. Hacienda de Calamba is originally owned by a Spaniard who donated the land to Jesuit friars, went to possession of the Spanish colonial government, and in 1803 it was sold to Don Clemente de Azanza and eventually sold to Dominicans. The lands of Hacienda de Calamba were classified into three for the purpose of determining rents, and each land has its own products being produced. So, nahati-hati ang lupain ng Hacienda de Calamba into three parts. So, ano-ano ang mga ito? First is the Tierras Palayeras. Tierras Palayeras is a land suited for rice farming. This land produces palay. Second is Tierras Cañadolzales, sugar land. This land produces sugarcane. Kung ang itinatanim sa Tierras Palayeras ay palay, dito naman sa Tierras Cañado-Rosales ang itinatanim is mga tubo. Next, third is the Tierras Catillanes. It includes fishing ground and garden plots. These lands were further classified into first class, second class, and third class, or based on the productivity of the land. The third class being least productive land. However, the commodities planted in Hacienda de Calamba are rice and sugar. So, ito yung mga pangunahing produkto ng Hacienda de Calamba, rice at saka sugar. In terms of ownership, the inquilinos are the one who rented the land and entered into sharecropping arrangement with the kasamas or the sharecroppers. Kumbaga sa isang boarding house, yung mga inquilinos is sila yung mga tenants, while yung kasamas is sila yung mga boarders. The inquilinos were more dependent on the sugar cane, making Hacienda de Calamba the most significant sugar producers along with the other two large monastic estates in Laguna under the Dominican state. So in connection to this, ano ang connection ng friar lands sa buhay ni Dr. Jose P. Rizal? So Rizal's family became one of the principal inquilinos of the hacienda. They rented one of the largest leased parcel of land measuring approximately 380 hectares. Since the main crop was sugar cane and it was the most in demand in the world market then. The Rizal family got their income mainly from the land ownership in the center arose in the 1883. The family evidently suffered, and that's the beginning of the sufferings in the family of Rizal since the ownership of Hacienda de Calamba out of their hands. So simula noong mawala sa kamay ng pamilya ni Dr. Jose Rizal ang ownership sa Hacienda de Calamba, doon na sila nagsimulang maghirap. Next is the Negros Hacienda. By the early 1850s, there were already small sugar haciendas in Iloilo and Panay Island, but main production in the expansive areas of Iloilo are rice. Thus, new sugar haciendas were founded in Negros. However, despite the sugar haciendas founded, there were particular small towns in Negros continued to produce food crops, either rice or corn. In the towns of Negros, the small town focuses mainly on the rice farming, while the large farms focuses on sugarcane. In terms of ownership, hacienderos are hiring their own tenants or employing overseers. Since Negros are focusing on enhancing profits invested in machinery, thus making Negros as producers of higher quality sugar than Luzon and surpassing the sugar crisis which affected the Hacienda de Calamba. So dito natalo ng Negros Hacienda ang Hacienda de Calamba. And that's for Agrarian Relations and the Friar Lands. End of this slide. And let's proceed naman sa Intraclergy Conflicts and the Cavite Munity na tatalakayin naman ni Anjanette C. Kindiga.
Good day everyone. After the Agrarian Relations and the Friar Lands, I will discuss the Intraclergy Conflicts and the Cavite Mutiny.
Intraclergy conflicts. Clergy is the people that have been trained and approved for religious service, for example, priest.
Ano kaya ang mga kinalaman ng mga pare doon sa Cavite Mutiny? What happened in the Cavite Mutiny? In 1872, the historic year of two events, the Filipino perspective and the Spaniards' perspective. Cavite Mutiny, a major factor in the awakening of nationalism among the Filipino. Mutiny comes from an old verb mutine, which means revolt. Cavite Mutiny is the uprising of military personnel of Fort San Felipe. Of January 20, 1872, around 200 soldiers and laborers rose up in the belief that it would elevate to a national uprising. The mutiny was unsuccessful, and government soldiers executed many of the participants.
2 is the martyrdom of the 3 priests, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, Jacinto Zamora. Gomburza, collected name of the 3 priests, tagged as the mastermind of the Cavite Mutiny. They were prominent Filipino priests charged with treason and sedition. The Spanish clergy connected the priests to the mutiny as part of a conspiracy to lift the movement of secular priests who desired to have their own parishes, instead of being assistant to the regular friars. And the question is, bakit nga ba nagkaroon ng pag-aalsa? Sinasabi nila may dalawang pananaw, pananaw ng mga Espanyol at pananaw ng mga Filipino. Una, Spanish accounts of the Cavite Mutiny. One is Montero's account of the Cavite Mutiny. According to Jose Montero y Vidal, was a Spanish historian. His account centered on how the event was an attempt in overthrowing the Spanish government in the Philippines. He was criticized as woefully biased. 2. Governor Esquerdo on the Cavite Mutiny of 1872. According to Governor Rafael Esquerdo, he implicated the native clergy, and he was active in the movement towards scholarization of parishes. By his report, he highlighted the attempt of overthrow the Spanish government in the Philippines to install a new hari in the person of Father Burgos and Zamora. The Spanish accounts is a reason for revolution, abolition of privilege enjoyed by the workers of Cavite Arsenal, such as exemption from payment of tribute and being employed in polo servicios. So, because of the government of the Espanyol, they removed the rights of the Filipino privilege, like exemption o sa pilitang pagtatrabaho. Yun daw yung naging rason kung bakit daw nagkaroon ng pag-aalsa ng mga Pilipino. Sinasabi din ng mga Kastila na plano daw talaga ng mga Pilipino to bring down the Espanyol government. Kaya, yung 200 na soldier was led by Sergeant La Madrid, attacked the Spanish officer at sight and seized the arsenal. Ang arsenal ay paggawaan ito ng mga armas ng mga sundalo na nagresulta ng pagkamatay ng mga ilang leaders. Actually, in February 17, 1872, Gomburza were executed by garrote in public to serve as a threat to Filipinos, never to attempt to fight the Spaniards again. This is a scene purportedly witnessed by a young Jose Rizal. Sa katunayan, ito naman ang pananaw ng mga Filipino, or differing accounts of the events of 1872. 1. Pardo de Tavera account of the Cavite Mutiny. According to Dr. Trinidad, he wrote the Filipino version of the bloody incident in the Cavite. He said that the incident was merely a mutiny by Filipino soldiers and laborers of the Cavite Arsenal to the dissatisfaction arising from the draconian policies of Esquerdo. Kaya nagkaroon ng himagsikan laban sa mga Espanyol dahil pinagmalupitan sila nito. Plachut's accounts of the Cavite Mutiny. According to Edmund Plachut, he complemented Tavera's account and analyzed the motivation of 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Friar used Cavite Mutiny as part of larger conspiracy to cement their dominance. They showcased the mutiny as part of a greater conspiracy in the Philippines by Filipino to overthrow the Spanish government. Unintentionally, it resulted in the martyrdom of Gomburza and paved way to the revolution culminating in 1898. So, Rizal dedicated his second novel sa mga nangyari in Cavite Mutiny, which is El Filibusterismo, stated that I dedicated my work to you as victims of the evil which I undertake to combat. So, thank you for listening. And now, let's proceed to the Learning Rizal Beyond the Classroom. Ibabahagi naman ni Ate Monet.
A present day everyone, I am Monet Kabatik from Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics 2. Ang tatalakayan natin ngayon is si Dr. Jose Rizal at ang iba't ibang monumento na matatagpuan dito sa Pilipinas at sa ibang bansa. Learning Rizal beyond the classroom. So when I say Learning Rizal beyond the classroom, students should visit at least 3 historical sites here in the Philippines or in other countries to know more about our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. Okay? So, there are 3 definitions of terms here. The first one is shrine. Shrine is a place where sacred remains are kept or stored, or yung tinatawag ng iba na banal na lugar na kung saan dito nila inililibing yung mga tao na may makasaysayang ambag sa isang bansa o lugar. So, ang pinakasikat na shrine dito sa Pilipinas is the shrine of our Dr. Jose Rizal, or yung bantayog ni Jose Rizal, the Magellan Shrine, and the Lapu-Lapu Shrine. The next one, museum. Museum is an institution that cares for a collection of artifacts and other objects of artistic, historical, cultural, and scientific importance, o ang tinatawag nating museo. So, ang pinakasikat na museo dito sa Pilipinas is the National Museum of Fine Arts na matatagpuan sa Luzon. Ang pangatlo, historical landmarks, a building, district, object, site, or structure that is officially recognized by United States government for outstanding historical significance. So, bago nagiging historical landmarks ang isang bagay, kailangan munang na-recognize ito by the United States of American government. So, the Eiffel Tower and the Great Wall of China are example of historical landmarks in the world. There are 3 Rizal shrines in the Philippines. So we are here locally, Philippines. The first one is Rizal Shrine in Calamba. So we all know that Calamba, Laguna is the home place of our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. It is a 2-story stone and hardwood structure with narrow floors and red tile roof. So ang nakikita natin na roof na is red. That is the house of our national hero, Jose Rizal. The Rizal home was a spacious parlor with wide copy shell windows and a library. So, ang windows nila is made from copy shell. It has a library, a dining room of course, and a kitchen. The second one is the Rizal Shrine in Dapitan City. Sa Dapitan, meron tayong matatagpuan na Rizal Shrine, which is a park and has a cool shady place surrounded by century-old in which are some even older than Rizal. So, ang sabi dito, ang mga puno is mas matatanda pa kaysa kay Rizal. Ibig sabihin, super old na ang mga punong ito. Sa loob ng Rizal Shrine sa Dapitan City, makikita tayong mga structures tulad ng Miretiro Rock, or yung nakikita natin sa picture na isang malaking bato which is a heart-shaped rock resting in a pond which Rizal has scribbled beautiful words from his famous poem Miretiro. So dito niya isinulat ang pinakasikat niyang poem na Miretiro, which means my retreat. Casa Redonda was built to accommodate the growing number of his pupils in his Talisay School. With the growing number of pupils na meron si Jose Rizal, ipinatayo niya ang Casa Redonda to accommodate the number of pupils na meron siya sa Talisay School. Next one is the Aqueduct. We all know that it is a Talisay water system or a reservoir system. On 1895, another famous and well-known water supply is designed and constructed by Dr. Jose Rizal during his banishment in that municipality by the Spanish authorities. So, ang water system na to is nakakonect sa kitchen ng bahay nila to supply water. Next one is Casa Redonda and Casa Redonda Pequena. Casa Redonda is an octagonal dwelling which is used as dormitory by some of Rizal's pupils. So, ginagamit nila ito as dormitory ng mga pupils ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Casa Redonda Pequena is a hexagonal structure used as main kitchen. So, dito sila kumakain after nila ng mag-lesson with Dr. Jose Rizal. Casitas de Salud is health clinic accommodating different patients from the municipality. So, in the municipality, there is Casitas de Salud, serve as the health clinic for the municipality, or it accommodates many patients in the municipality. Resiliana, a modern building wherein the Rizalian books, scripts, and other periodicals are exhibited. So, ang nasa lower part picture natin is the Resiliana where the books, scripts, and other periodicals are located. Number 3, the Casa Residencia. So, ang Casa Residencia, dito siya nagstay. Si Dr. Rizal, dito siya pumunta nun after being an exile. So, it is a rectangular house where Rizal lived during his days as an exile. The third shrine is the Rizal Shrine in Intramuros. The Rizal Shrine in Intramuros is a museum dedicated to the life work of Sir Rizal. So, dito matatagpuan ang iba't ibang poems niya, yung mga literary pieces niya. Dito matatagpuan sa Rizal Shrine in Intramuros. So, where it is located? It is located on Santa Clara Street, Fort Santiago, Intramuros, Manila, Philippines. The section of this house is the contemplation room, silid ng pagninilay ni Dr. Rizal. Second, the prison cell, ang piitan ni Rizal. Number 3, the chamber of text, bulwagan ng panunulat. Number 4, the valedictory poem, ang tulang walang hanggan. And the last one, the reliquary room or silid ng nalalabi. Paco Park, Manila is like an oasis for relaxation and fun. So which means maraming mga turistang dumadagsa dito for relaxation and fun. And it is an open-air concert area and historical markers. So ibig sabihin, hindi ko lang alam kung marami nang nagko-concert na artista dito. Rizal Monument or the first Rizal Monument in Daet, Camarines Sur. It is the oldest monument. Standing at about 20 feet, the three-tiered stone pylon has cube base, a three-sided pyramid in the middle, and triangular pyramid which tapers off to a point at the top. So it is made from corals. That's why its color is white, because from corals. So places where Rizal's monument located internationally. There are 5 places. The first place is at Singapore. So in 2008, when he first set foot in the islands of hired a coach to go around this place, nothing escaped his curious eyes, even commenting that Singapore Chinese are better looking and more honest than Philippine Chinese. So nung unang pagpunta niya sa Singapore, it was recognized. That's why may pinatayo silang monument ni Dr. Rizal noong 2008. Number 2 is at Madrid. His monument in Madrid, a replica of the Luneta Monument in Manila. So katulad lang ng Rizal Park natin dito sa Manila is the monument at Madrid. Stand proud at the conjunction of Avenida de las Islas Filipinas and Calle Santander. It was built in 1996. Number 3, Hong Kong. Rizal is celebrated in Hong Kong where he first planned the founding of La Liga Filipina. So, nung unang plano niya sa La Liga Filipina is at Hong Kong, where he drafted Filipino translations. Dito rin niya i-translate ang Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo sa Hong Kong. Number 4, Japan. In 1998, a bronze bust of Rizal was erected along a trail within Hibiya Park, a large public park next to the Imperial Palace. And the last one, the United States of America, wherein was built on 1861-1896. This monument commemorating the 100th anniversary of Philippine independence honors Dr. Rizal. So mga taga-United States, to honor Dr. Rizal and commemorating the 100th anniversary of Philippine independence. Ends my reporting. So I hope you've learned a lot of things from Rizal. So itong mga sinabi ko is konti lang sa mga historical places ni Rizal dito sa Pilipinas at sa ibang bansa.